Coming at you live from DNHQ3 in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. That's a bell, and we are powered by the Overtime Podcast Network. What is going on, Dodgers Nation? It's your boy. I'm Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on the Twitter and the Instagram.
Did you slip a bell in there this time?
I did slip a bell.
All right.
Did you want more?
No, that's it. That's all I had. I am Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, it's cold outside.
It's December. Somehow it became the December month.
Yeah, you know what that means.
Cold, hot, warmer stove? Fire stove?
When the weather gets cold, the stove gets hot.
Oh, God.
Oh, that was really good. You should put that on a shirt or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, Scott Boras.
I deserve that. Yeah, that's on me. That's on me.
But we are going to preview the winter meetings that are coming up next week, and I guess we'll be doing our next show like knee-deep in the winter meetings when everybody is going to sign with L.A. We also have to honor our fallen hero, James Garcia, Yimi himself, Yimi in the flesh.
Hit the button.
I don't know.
Sad trumpet.
That one? It literally says sad trombone.
It does?
That one?
Maybe like...
Oh, this? There it is. It's a bugle.
Sad bugle.
Also a whole bunch, including Yimi. There are a whole bunch of new free agents out there.
And more.
And more that we will talk about more. Good slip of the bell, says Michelle Carter. We do not have Rendon, Cole, or Strasburg yet. So we can't do anything of that, but we can tell you that we have to give a shout out to our friends. You guys see that little bug up there in that right-hand corner? Yes, over at Sportscaster, you could be a pro, sound like a pro, look like a pro, be as cool as Brooke at sportscaster.com. So if you'd like to live stream like us, if you want to game and do the what do the kids still play on the gaming?
The Fortnites.
If you want to Twitch your Fortnites and all that kind of stuff, or just be your own broadcaster awkwardly watching a Laker game, visit sportscaster.com today. That is CASTR.com today, of course, after this fine live stream.
Jahuli pointed out the fact that I missed a hair. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate you. Yeah, make sure you guys do it after the show because we're more important. So, after the show. Don't forget, guys, this is a live broadcast, so make sure you guys drop your questions, comments. Let us know where you're repping Dodgers Nation. I see Steve Munoz in the stream. What up, fellas? Shout out from the Bakersfield. I'm so sorry. So sorry about that, Steve. It's not San Bernardino, but
Perez is here. Look who it is. We're happy to see you. Perez 1619 are over on Twitch. Hatfield in the stream. Hiya, ladies. How you doing there? Mr. Brian Hatfield, JD Dodger in West Covina. Born and raised on the plague.
I've been there. I have been there.
Man.
That is a place.
Moving.
Moose 1032. I think that's Mike Moustakis. He watches our show. He's in the 323, which is, just like a general LA.
Perez says, dude, only people 15 and under play Fortnite. Okay, well, why do you know that? Oh, he's the Twitch guy.
Oh, he's a Twitcher.
He's our lone Twitch fan.
He's a Twitcher.
So Ryan Moore is leading us off here with a fire question. Is why the bleep did we re-sign Scott Alexander? What do you think about
I was really
Scotty?
confused about the anger behind that. First of all, let me point this out first. First of all, the man has options. So there's no reason for him to, if he's bad, he won't be on the team come the start of the season. He has options. Yeah, what does it matter? He cost under $1 million.
No, one. Oh, it was under. Yeah.
It was $875 or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, your boy Barnesy got the 1.1 mil.
Oh yeah, and if anything, be mad about that one, guys. Come on. And then Scott Alexander over like the course of his career has had one of the highest ground ball percentages of all relievers. He's not a loogie. Everyone thinks he's a loogie, but he's not. Since that rule's dead, or that the new rule kind of makes a loogie useless now.
Yeah.
So he's literally a no risk and potentially high reward guy. It makes sense. There's no money. There's no risk involved in this at all.
Gary's hiding off in the corner. Gary, you seem like you had something you wanted to say about Scotty Alexander.
He just doesn't like him.
He's my son's least favorite player.
Wait,
if Lucas doesn't like you.
I don't know if I have. Do I have a dun dun? There it is. Knock off dun dun dun. What did he ever do to Lucas?
Every time he came in, someone hit a home run off him or
no,
a key play. So I think it's Lucas actually. So we got to
Lucas is his bad luck.
I know Lucas
Yimi Garcia.
No, it's Scott Alexander.
But so the Dodgers did sign or extend a contract or come to an agreement, I should say, with Alexander, with Barnes. But a whole hell of a lot of people became free agents on Monday. What the hell happened there, Brooke?
Yeah, they became free agents. My favorite time is the not. So I just picture like Andrew Friedman. He doesn't get all excited when free agency opens up or anything like that, or any of the big names like Bryce Harper and those guys in the past going onto free agency. He doesn't get excited about that. He gets really excited the night before when players have to be tendered contracts or released. He gets so excited about that, and he just knows that's where he's going to get all his good players for the next year. And there was actually this year, I feel like more than any year before,
exceptional amount of talent.
There is you could build a great team with the people who got
you could build a 40-man roster with it.
You really could, yeah. So
because there's 40.
You look at all these guys who didn't get tendered contracts, and there's some pretty significant names in there, and a lot of them were pretty surprising, including a guy who got an MVP vote.
Shout out to your boy Kevin Pillar.
Shout out to Kevin Pillar.
Is it Kevin? It is Kevin.
Yeah. Let's be Frank Pod tuning in. 626 and the 310. Get it? Because they're from different areas.
Oh, I get it.
My boys.
By the way, guys,
franchise.
check out the franchise's new fire merch. I love that stuff.
I bought the franchise shirt.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to get the support your local podcast one.
I was going to do that one, but I was like, that's too on the nose for me because I run a podcast.
I know. Can we get one of those? But that also says at Blue Heaven Pod. That would be nice. We appreciate it, Franks.
I had to get the franchise one because that's more
it's a fire
supporting.
Shirt. It's a fire shirt. They don't come in XX beautiful.
I got it in large.
But what we're seeing, 40 dudes hit the open market, and I like Kenny Rosenthal today. I think it was today. He came out with a post. Well, it was sort of along the lines of, or had to do with something he read or heard from Jeff Passan over at the ESPN. But like, you're seeing this many people hit the market or flood the market. Really, our clubs. The wonder is our clubs gaming the system right now. If you have so many people that are released into the bloodstream here, I guess, like that's got to bring down the asking price of a lot of people.
Yeah, I think we're not looking at the biggest free agency class of all time, or not even the best free agency class of all time. That's arguably happened over the past couple of years, but it is one of those free agency classes where there's some guys that could get some fat contracts. I mean, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but you look at the contract of guys like Zach Wheeler, who are supposed to be getting over $100 million for Zach Wheeler.
He apparently already has like an offer.
Dollars for Zach Wheeler. Like, the dude has not been. I mean, he's like one of those guys that has the stuff. Like, he could definitely be good, but I mean, he plays for the Mets. Maybe that's why he hasn't been good. Nobody wants to play good for the Mets.
No.
But definitely,
they don't teach them how to play good in the Mets.
Is that,
I think that's how that
what
goes.
Happens? But you look at the market for guys like him and Nick Castellanos and what's the guy we hate? What's his name? Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, they're gonna say Travis d'Arnaud.
No, we're not talking about that guy. I'm still mad. But I mean, if you're looking at Wheeler's going to get probably 5 years, $100 million somewhere. That's probably the offer that he's already gotten. And it's like, man, you're offering Zach Wheeler $20 million a year for 5 years, a guy who can't really stay healthy and has been really up and down, like very dramatically, and you're going to give him $20 million a year.
And that's the weird thing now. We're seeing the way the market's going. Like, people a few years ago wouldn't get that kind of guaranteed money, but now it's like, Strasburg's coming off of his like really only extended healthy season, definitely at least in a while. And, you're expecting him to get more than the $100 million he left on the table, which I don't blame him. Again, you'll never blame him because, one, he can definitely get more money guaranteed. But also the Washingtons they had the whole what the hell am I trying to think of right now? Backlogging his contract. I can't think of the word right now. But back revving. But yeah, they were going to pay most of that. Butt grabbing. Yeah, they were going to Bobby Bonilla, the poor kid. And I don't blame you for wanting to leave that. But Jose Rod says it's going to be 10 years for $100 million for your boy Zach Wheeler there. But they're already an exceptional amount of talented players out there, but we're also seeing, again, with all these non-tendered players or the trades that led up to some of these non-tendered players, like the Orioles are getting a lot of crap right now for that Villar trade. You go from one franchise as bad as the Orioles and somehow Miami is an upgrade. I guess that's good for him. But, like, how bad are you making it apparent that you're punting just to save up? I mean, to be fair with Baltimore, they're so far gone. they need like a full-on restoration.
They need like a decade to come back. They really do. That's unfortunate for them. But Miami made out like thieves this past week. They got what's the big dude's name that got kicked by Manny? You know, big guy.
Jesus Aguilar. Yeah.
They got him for nothing. They got VR.
Did you see Cut 4 like put their fake hats on them and whatnot? Those are some ugly looking dudes.
They looked very depressed.
They
Both
looked
of them.
depressed.
They were like, Miami, Perez, we hate Miami.
But
SD Dodger Tim makes a good point. He says, mediocre teams paying huge money for barely above average players always works out well.
Yeah.
Said in jest.
Oh.
Because he's not serious.
Wait, you're saying that was a joke?
Yeah. It typically doesn't work out well. Like paying a lot of money Travis d'Arnaud, a terrible catcher.
That's okay. There's a compressor. I'll turn up the compressor on his channel.
I'm a compressor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of the 40 that hit the open market, there are a few names that are really, really intriguing. I think of most intrigue for the Dodgers and for people that have been around this organization as long as we all have. We know the way Farhand's friend, the Andrew Friedman, operates.
The laptop.
Blake Treinen is 1,000% the most Dodger type dude you're ever going to see.
I don't think there has ever been a more Andrew Friedman player in the history of baseball players, actually.
He's a sinker ball dude. He's got that. How does your ERA jump by almost 4 full runs?
Well,
with a shoulder injury.
He had an injury riddled year. His walk percentage skyrocketed. His barrel percentage skyrocketed. His launch angle was twice as much as it was in the previous year, which was a very good year. A very good year. So, he just struggled through 2019. There's no doubt about it. But it's surprising to me that the A's let him walk after a bad year like that, considering he's only a year removed from a borderline Cy Young reliever type of season.
Yeah, he got I think he placed 6th or 7th in the Cy Young in 2018. He was an all-star in 2018, but the fact was he was going to command, almost $8 million in arbitration, and they could have spread that out the way they did, and they went and re-upped with Jake Diekman for 2 years in the same amount. So I understand that it is the A's, and they are perpetually cheap. Shout out to your boy Billy Bean.
In 2018, he had a barrel percentage of 2.1, which is, to put it in perspective, way better than Kenley's barrel percentage at the top of his game. And on top of that, the weighted on-base percentage of .187, top 1% of the league. That means he's one of the best pitchers in the league in 2018 in the American League. So you look at those numbers, and then you look at 2019, which obviously was much worse, and you're like, all right, he had a bad year. Is that a guy you take a flyer on? Probably. Is that a guy Andrew Friedman probably tries to take a flyer on? Almost 100% tries to.
Yeah, but everybody's going to be in on him right now.
Oh, yeah. Everybody should be in on that guy. There's no doubt
You're
going
to see the Yankees. They want their 8th closer in the bullpen because they're not going to sign Garrett Cole because they're afraid the Dodgers and the Angels are going to come after him. But quick shout out here to Teresa Martinez. She's checking in from Tucson, Arizona. So just happened to be we happen to pop up on her Facebook, but she prefers listening to us in the morning on the drive to work. So, we're basically, I don't know, we're Howard Stern? Do people still listen to
We're
Howard
Arizona
Stern?
famous.
Yeah, slap hands.
I always wanted to be Arizona famous. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that.
But along the likes of Blake Treinen, I'm really surprised to see Taijuan Walker hit the market, too. Of course,
Is he bringing his taco truck with him?
Yes. Taiwan Tacos.
You hear that, Gary? We got to sign him.
Because his name's Taiwan.
And he has tacos.
It is Jay.
I don't care. His name is Taiwan.
Oh, I get it.
Much love.
Country.
Fellow countryman, Taijuan Walker. Yeah, he just barely came back from missing, the better part of 2 years with Tommy John or something like that. But he's a dude who can get that ball up there over 100. Kind of surprised to see that. Somebody's going to take a run at him. They're going to have a lot of these guys, like another guy, Kevin Gausman. A lot of people I've seen. I'm going to stop saying a lot of people. Anyways, a lot of people, a tremendous amount of people.
I know a lot of friends.
I keep hearing, hey, you're going to want to shut down Slack over there, by the way. What you keep seeing often enough with your boy over there, what's his face, the guy I was just talking about, who we're talking about? Oh, Kevin Gausman. He went to Cincinnati late last season and was exceptional out of the bullpen. You wonder if he's one of those guys. Our boy Tim Rogers, SC Dodger Tim, pointed that out in a fine article over at our DodgersNation.com today. looking at some of the better targets the Dodgers should look at from the 40 that hit the market, and Gausman is one of them. And you're seeing more people mention Gausman because I think he's just a wipeout like fastball splitter type dude.
That's it.
And that's what Tim was pointing out. Like you see somebody like on San Diego, the Padres, they have Kirby Yates, and that's really what worked for Yates, was just focusing on that fastball changeup type pitch, which was a splitter, and you can be nasty with that, man. So with that said, Gausman's not coming to LA. We're not going to make any major signings. Plus, are you happy? Let's say right now they go out and
I've never been happy.
Oh, well, we know that. Yeah. Are you satisfied-ish enough if they go and add Kevin Gausman to the bullpen?
Like that was it? That's all they did?
That was their only bullpen move. Say the Dodgers go out and get Gausman and also, let's say they get Rendon. Let's say we get Rendon and Kevin Gausman. Is that enough?
I'd be happy with that.
Oh.
I'd be satisfied. Yeah. You get Rendon, you move him to third, you get Turner over to first, you get Bellinger more full-time in the outfield, you murder Jock or something. I don't know what you do with him.
Hey, man. We'll get to Jocktober in a minute.
Yeah.
A little bit later.
But then, I really think Joe Kelly's going to have a bounce-back year in the bullpen. I think we got a lot of really good bounce-back candidates for the bullpen. And, it's not really something you can rely on, but you can carry that all the way to the trade deadline. 100% you can. So I'm okay with that. I'd be 100% okay with that. I'd be 100% okay with just a Rendon signing at this point, honestly. Yeah. I don't know when the last time we landed a big name. When's the last time we landed a big name free agent?
Yeah, wasn't Pollock supposed to be that guy?
No, he wasn't a big name. No, everyone knew that.
Hey, man, Gold Glover, Silver Slugger, All-Star. Scott Boras. They signed a Boras free agent.
That's
Come
true.
on.
We did it.
We won the offseason last year, and look what it got us, a first-round bounce.
I can't even think of the last big name free agent we signed.
It's going to be Taijuan Walker, guys, I'm telling you. Because I like over here, our friend of the show, Moshe, brings up Taiwan Taco Tuesday.
That's good, yeah.
That sort of works.
Like
Wait, I'm going to give the point for that one. Also amongst them, as we get to our fallen hero very shortly in James Garcia, but former Dodger legend Charlie Culberson is a free agent out there, so we should get Chuck Nasty back. I guess that's the other guy.
No.
Steven Souza, which was a big-time punt for poor Arizona. Yeah, so those guys are out there. I don't think LA goes after any of those types. It would just not. That's not the offseason. That is Ned Colletti in 2008 type move, not Farhan in 2019. Or, damn it, the other guy, Friedman.
Farhan might go after
Farhan. Yeah, I mean those type of dudes are 100% Farhan. They're all going to San Francisco. Just whole new roster
squad
over there. But most importantly, of the non-tender deadline that passed on Monday, it spelled the end for our dear friend, the human home run machine. I would say human BP pitcher, but most of the time BP pitchers are human. But the sun rose, the sun set for our friend Yimi Garcia. That's where is it? I'm pushing both of them. He will no longer be serving up bombs for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So
unless
now
he's throwing them to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Now we honor him with a moment of silence and a shot in his honor of this fine Buchanan's Deluxe that was gifted to me from our friends of the show and our friends of Dodgers Nation, Tatiana, Nerdy Dodger, and come on. You want to help me out there, Chief? And Kennedy. I don't know. He's gonna take care of that. And come on, I knew I should have just pre-poured these. Whoa, Chief.
Is that syrup?
You got a drinking problem over there? For you guys on the podcast side, we're drinking. So go ahead and tell us a story over there, Gary.
It smells like sadness.
It smells like sadness. Man,
The sad part is I don't have a cup.
Oh, wait.
A beer.
I just use a bottle. Oh, there you go.
Now people can enjoy it
Now
on the
you
podcast
know.
side.
Now it's like you're here.
I feel really bad. I feel like this is the worst content we could have done. But you know what? It's about Yimi Garcia. He's been a Dodger since the year of our Lord 2014. 20,000. Cheersies.
So Yimi Garcia, may he forever live alive.
Forever. May he live in mediocrity forever.
I feel that.
Tasty.
Live in mediocrity forever. So yeah, Yimi is no longer a Dodger.
Let's talk Jimmy.
Do you feel okay? Well, here's the thing. I knew when I saw that, I knew of all people, you would be the most sad and the most happy and then the most sad. Describe your feelings. Walk me through the moment you found out.
I was just like, oh, there goes Jimmy. Did we get a post on that yet? That's pretty much, that's how I look at all Dodger headlines now. It's like, is somebody on this?
You just don't enjoy it anymore.
I can't enjoy
somebody
anything.
needs to be writing about
It's like,
that.
somebody write it. Where you at, Dan? That's pretty much my life right now. But no, I mean, it's interesting. Anybody who's hung around with us, and we see some new faces and new friends of the show hanging out with us tonight. And we appreciate you all very much, except for that one of you. But we talked a lot of Yimi Garcia on this podcast this year, and we were big time defenders, and maybe me more so at different points in time. I think I wrote a post like at the end of May about, you look at his ERA, he's pretty good. He's good at what ultimately the job's about, which is run prevention. You look at the end of the season, on paper, he had a good year, especially if it was like 20 years ago. That is an exceptional reliever you just let walk away. However, you look at that FIP, that's fielding independent pitching ERA. The ERA is close to, 5.6 or something like that. We called him the human home run machine because he gave up a solo shot almost guaranteed every time. And, I've seen some people, damn it, it's going to be one of those shows. People I posted about it on the social media machine, and I got some immediate defenders like, oh, people are going to be mad, or they're going to rue the day that they were haters to Yimi Garcia. And I was like, for this one particular person, I was straight up like, hey, I was a big time defender of this dude for a long time, but the FIP don't lie. And James just wasn't good anymore. And do you need another one of these guys? Do you need another Garcia? And let's be real about it, Pedro Baez. Pedro Baez shouldn't really be that eighth inning guy. You need that another guy. They need somebody like Kevin Gausman.
Yimi Garcia is arguably the greatest postseason pitcher of all time, though. He has a perfect, pristine 0 ERA all-time playoffs. Minimum 1 inning pitched.
Tim just said that Pollock's not a Boris guy.
You lied to me
Boris
then.
Guy.
The both of y'all lied to me.
I thought Boris was just there, and I just
he does. I think Boris hangs out in L.A. like often. You see him
I
most
don't
of
know
the time.
why
He's at Anaheim games. And
I don't know
Dodger
why
games.
he would be there for the introduction of Pollock at the press conference for media, though. That doesn't really make any sense.
Maybe
He took pictures.
No, he's with Excel. He's with Excel.
Okay.
That's who he's with.
Microsoft.
I'm with Google Sheets.
I love G Sheets, baby. Bless up.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, Michael
Appreciate you.
Brantley is his agent.
Michael Brantley?
Brant.
No.
Michael Brandt?
He's the outfielder.
Yeah, he's the outfielder on them cheating Astros.
The Cheestros.
What the hell? We're still getting pop-ups over there. but-
Anyways,
Back to Yimi.
Yimi.
yeah, we're getting that. Have you seen the "You're gonna regret it" people?
Oh yeah, 100%. And if you,
It's down in the toolbar at the bottom right. Yes.
kids.
Windows.
You look at Yimi, you look at his peripherals, and you're like, this guy should be a good pitcher, but also I don't think he ever pitched a meaningful inning in his entire Dodgers tenure, which kind of makes me feel a little bit bad, but also speaks more to Dave Roberts than anything else. He has a tendency to do
15 when he came up, they gave him some pretty solid innings
early on, yeah. But
in the Mattingly era.
He turned into like a choleric where it was just like hey, we're just gonna put you in right now, which God, the way they handled Adam Choleric this year was just the most frustrating thing in my life.
And like I was saying,
won't even talk about that.
you look at the arms that are on there. There's Baez, there's Chargois, there's people like Casey Sadler, our friend Josh Spores. There's so many of these middling right-handed relievers with exceptional, hashtag spin rate dudes, but not really super reliable stuff. So it's like, do you need another one of those dudes?
Those guys really are all the same person.
Yeah, 100%.
They really
They're all
are.
the same person. It's just Baez gets paid the most out of them. It hit
And he
that
gets the
point.
most crap.
Yeah, it just hit that point where Yimi's time in LA was done. And, how many times have we seen this, though? Like, we're seeing the defenders. We're seeing people say that we're going to regret it. But, one, you feel that about some dude, a kid who came up with your team. Anybody that's on the Dodgers, you feel, that emptiness inside when they leave you.
That emptiness will always be there.
Think about it. People were sad when they watched Joe Blanton leave. He tanked the next season. Brandon Morrow, he's been hurt pretty much outside of 20, 25 games. Brandon Morrow hasn't done anything. Paco Rodriguez, that was another name everybody was high on. He didn't do shit in his career.
Where's Paco?
He's dead.
He's not dead.
No, I think he's at like Taco Bell now.
Taco Bell?
I like the way we both came to that at the same time. So when I was initially like trying to recall these names, I couldn't remember his name. That's how bad it was. But so I just typed down spin rate guy, to which I remembered it was Grant Dayton. Was another guy that everybody was high on.
Sure
just
he's like
didn't
a
work
farmer
out.
now.
Javi Guerra was a Dodgers closer at one point.
True. Godell.
Eric Goodell.
AJ Gonzalez remind us.
Thank
Goodell.
you, AJ. Yeah, Eric Goodell, the commissioner over there. You got Josh Fields, all those type of people. There's a fair chance Yimi's going to go on and have a decent career, or he's going to be one of those guys that signs with a number of minor league deals and or a few major league deals. He's going to bounce in and out of baseball for the next 6 to 7, 8 years, and then we're not really going to care except for when he pitches against us and he, lights us up at that point.
Inevitably shuts us down.
Yeah.
Inevitably.
His immaculate inning against us. But let's dig in a little bit more. I don't know if we dug in enough to the big guy, which is Blake Treinen. Like, you're looking at those numbers with him because, again, that's really the dude. If we're talking between Gausman and Treinen, who do you want more out of that lot?
Oh, Treinen for sure.
Oh.
He's got the record of success. He's got the closing experience, which is, if you're looking at a reliever, that's what you're really looking for. He's got the fastball velocity. He's got the spin rate, which is, really popular with Friedman. So I'm just going to throw that in there just because, not necessarily that I agree with it, but very popular with him. He's got stuff that misses bats. He misses a lot of barrels, and when he's at the top of his game, no one can really touch him. He's got a really high strikeout percentage. He's got a really good mix of pitches. Gausman, like you said, is like a fastball splitter kind of guy, which those, in terms of arm slots and things like that, they kind of come out of the same arm slot. They look a lot alike, and so those pitches are hard to differentiate from. So he does have a good mix in that sense, but I just think that Treinen's the better pickup here. Mm-hmm. And they're both reclamation projects. There's no getting around that. But I think you have a better chance of a bounce back with him as opposed to Gausman.
So now let's opine and analyze here a little bit. This is the first time in nearly 15 years that Rick Honeycutt isn't going to be the guy behind the arms of these reclamation projects and all that. Do you think... How much of a difference do you think might happen without having Honey back there helping with these dudes?
Honey's like an old school guy.
You keep in mind, he's still going to be around the organization.
He is going to be around, and he's going to be, one of those consultants. Like teams always hire like ex-players as consultants, which basically means that they're just there and they're on the field. They don't do anything. It's going to be one of those things. Like Ichiro. Ichiro is a consultant. Ichiro doesn't really speak great English.
Jose Vizcaíno throws BP.
Yeah, that's it. Those are kind of what those guys do. So I think Honey's an old school kind of guy, and he's kind of the last one. He's kind of the last one in the entire organization that's like one of those old school coaches. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the pitching, what happens with the staff. I don't know. It could be interesting to see what happens. I'm kind of watching Kershaw this year to see what happens without Honey. That's what I'm interested in. All people, I'm interested in him because that's the first time in his career.
MLB.com writer Will Leitch came up with his list of one player from each team that's he thinks can have a breakout or will have a big 2020 season, and he really reached when he said Cody Bellinger. But he also threw in a surprising, I think, we see vintage Clayton Kershaw, and I was like, man, this guy is just really trying to get the comments flowing here. That's it.
Give me like a Greg Maddux at the end of his career kind of season. That's what I want out of Kershaw. Just mixing in like Greg Maddux as a Dodger. That's what I want out of Kershaw.
We'll see about how Mark Pryor does with some of those guys. Checking a few of the comments here. Charles Hamill is in the stream. Friend of the show. Charles Hamill says, we lost because the Astros cheated, period, Boomer. Who's the Boomer? Rick's not here.
M Boomer.
Perez 1619, thank you. Ronald Belisario is another one of those dudes. Think about
Belisario.
Who was the other? Ramon Troncoso.
Ramon Troncoso? I think Ramon Troncoso only had a two-seam fastball. I'm pretty sure that's all he threw. Mm-hmm. Yeah, back in the day.
Jose Rod says Tony Watson was a regret. Yeah, there are definitely regrets out there here and there, but it just happens.
Is Cingrani alive? Does he play sports?
Didn't he get like traded back to Cincinnati or something?
I don't even know where he is now.
He's dead. Nomo Fomo, yes. Honeycutt
Tim will know.
retired. Yeah, help us out, Tim. He is asking, wait, what? Honey is gone? Yes, he retired, and now Mark Pryor is going to be the guy, and it looks like
He didn't retire.
Yeah,
He
he
got
did.
promoted to the front office.
No, they
He
gave
got-
him an
as an
old people's
advisor.
job.
He got depromoted.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
encouraged to
promoted to
retire.
advisor.
That's pretty much what it is.
Hong Chi
Hong
Kuo.
Chi Kuo,
Hey, hitting us with some
yes.
fire. Let's be frank pod.
Oh, man, I miss Hong Chi Kuo. What do you think he's doing nowadays?
Taiwan Taco Tuesday.
Oh, he's got a food truck. That sounds good.
Anyway, shifting gears. MLB Warm Stove 2020. We were cold stove last week. Now it's warm stove because these last 2 days, all the riders are. It just feels. I don't know, Gary. You've gone through this longer. Does it seem like all the riders are just seeing if their Twitter fingers still work after like the sort of early winter break, and they're just tweeting everything? Like
They're
Steven
just taking a break.
Strasburg
Yeah.
met with everybody. Garrett Cole and Rendon have now met with everybody, and of course everybody's going to take advantage of it. But of course they have. Of course they're talking to these people.
Yeah, I mean, the riders seem to take their break after the World Series and all that kind of stuff. So it's like 3 weeks. Holidays, and then winter meetings comes up. And then they get to talk to their favorite agents and find out their favorite news and see what they need to do to negotiate certain contracts for everybody that's out there. So it's a big old game. Game of Thrones.
I do like the free agency and the hot stove this offseason compared to obviously last offseason. Last
so many
offseason
people, that's why.
sucked, dude. Nothing happened.
Oh, it's Bryce Harper. Oh, wait, Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper didn't.
Bryce
have
Harper.
That was it. Like nothing
conversation.
happened from like it was all rumors from the second the last pitch of the World Series was thrown to Manny Machado. From the second that last pitch was thrown, all it was rumors until February. Nothing else really happened. But then you look at, if you look at like NBA free agency, which is like the first hour of NBA free agency is like everybody signs. And then for like 5 months, there's nothing. There are small moves or small pickups or something like that.
Or injuries.
Which is cool for that one day. Or
What's the draft picks?
Yeah,
NBA
yeah.
has their media cycle down.
Yeah, for sure.
I love how NFL adjusted their media cycle. Like they adjusted their draft and then their combines to fit. And then NBA reacted. I think the MLB right now is trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and so the MLB was for a little bit. It was very like it was all December loaded. Like that's for a long time. That's what it was. That's when everybody signed was December.
January,
and
February.
then freaking that guy came along. And he set the standard because he didn't want all his players to sign until February. And then it was like, all right, I guess we're not doing anything till February because we got to wait for the market to shape up. And then once all of Boris's players signed, it was like this mad rush to get everybody else signed before spring training because nobody wanted to sign before Boris players signed on because they wanted to set the market, create a market for players.
Plus,
and to
those
get
are
more
the
money.
franchise-altering players.
Yeah, it's not like these are like B-level guys or role players.
I think there should be
they're the guys.
Max contract deadline.
I think there should be too for
because
baseball.
that takes up so much of your budget. You really have to take a look at, by Christmas time, figure out your budget, and then you can plan for the next 2 months to sign the middle tier players. That fills out your team. That's how it's supposed to work, right?
Well, the current CBA is expiring pretty damn soon.
2021.
So, I think we're going to see something crazy
There's
happen.
going to be
Or
huge changes.
Probably a strike.
So you guys are more. Let's not say that word right now.
Yeah.
It's Steve, right? So you guys are more on board with the idea of like an off-season deadline, like a player signing deadline, or is it
Mostly like a max contract deadline, like similar to like I don't know most other major sports. That's kind of how they do it.
No, NFL doesn't have it. NBA doesn't.
Well, NFL is different though in the sense that like NFL contracts are way different than any other sport though, because NFL with like the fact that you can restructure a contract, like it's not common through any other sport.
No.
Really. I don't really know how NHL contracts work. I don't really watch.
Boris
Is
is
that
just-
still a thing?
Boris is playing the game. I mean, he's smart enough to play the game where he's holding the teams all hostage. Everybody, the whole league hostage.
Oh yeah,
and
he's
because
gonna
that's the
make his
first
players
domino.
money.
Well, I mean, it's
Like,
not like it's not the owners and the teams that are doing the same thing.
Everyone
Everybody
does the same
you
thing.
know who wants these players, and with Cole, it's Anaheim, it's L.A., it's New York, and those are pretty much the key.
Angels are in LA.
Never heard of her. Those are the three major players that want it, want the Cole, and they're not even necessarily playing against each other. I mean, we saw I think it was Heyman today that said that the Yankees are afraid of Anaheim and LA when it comes to Garrett Cole. It's like, all right, well then shift your focus and just go overwhelm Strasburg.
I mean, I'll take it back. Thinking about it, I'm not a big fan of the max contract deadline because it sucks for the player.
It does. And
the players earn the right to make a decision about it.
And the next CBA is going to be more player oriented. It's not. Nothing is ever going to be more
Qualifying offers going to be
ever.
gone for sure.
Yeah. And if not gone, at least severely adjusted in some way, shape, or form.
But there's going to be more money without minor league too.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you want minor leaguers to make more money. You want all these guys to be making more money. And then, at the same time, you also want the market to get moving a lot quicker than it has. And it seems like this year it's kind of picked itself up with no real motivation other than, I don't know. It's kind of a weird offseason. Like you're seeing a lot of moving parts really early on before some of the bigger names drop off the list. But I think it's just because a lot of teams that already know, like, hey, we're not going after those guys. Like we know they're going to cost a lot of money. We're not going after Garrett Cole. We know he's going to cost a lot of money. We're not getting Anthony Rendon. We know he's going to cost a lot of money.
The White Sox put themselves probably a season back in the rebuild because they were waiting on Harper and they were waiting on Machado, and of course they were going to get spurned by those players because they had. Well, they had visions of better options, and I don't know if Manny ended up with the option he wanted, but he ended up with a hell of a lot of money. Now you're seeing, like, I don't know where I'm going with it, but yeah, they're with White Sox and that you're talking about that. Yeah, it's like, you know what? Let's set the market now. Let's not even screw the market. Let's just get what we need.
I like it. It's great. It's really setting the tone for everybody else, and hopefully it gets these guys signed quicker so they can get with their teams quicker, so we know what to prepare for quicker. We have something to write about quicker, things like that.
Yeah, but then we'll be have 3 months off of nothing baseball. Imagine if you didn't we're all just waiting.
Kind of though.
We're waiting for anything from Rosenthal to say.
But then we have so much potential to write about within a team structure and what to expect from a roster and lineup build and things like that. So many things to prepare for. This is just all personal. This has nothing to do with you guys. I apologize. But Gary, what does Scott Boras make on a contract?
Isn't it 10%?
It's probably 10%.
Yeah,
it's Boris. It's probably more than that. This is
I think no. I think it's
pretty decent.
I think it's a players association and agency have to sign a certain contract. There's a standard. I think. I don't think there's anything more than 10%.
So you're telling me he's making $30 million on Bryce Harper?
Yeah, he made a ton last. Yeah, he made a ton last offseason.
Dang. Sources are telling us that the Astros just offered the trash can a max contract.
Wait, Addison Russell?
Thank you, Jose Rod.
Tim thinks it's 4%. So we're all over the map, guys. Somebody call Boris. Get him on the line.
Let me call him real
We
quick.
need to know. Get him on. Text him.
Tim also says that Heyman is a Boris leaking guy.
What? Send Boris a TikTok. Let
Wait,
him know.
it's 4% over. Oh, there's tiers, huh? Right?
I'm sure.
There should be tiers. Like if it's a certain amount of max contract, then yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
well,
there's no
Ariana
way you should be
Grande
making that much money.
Ariana Grande has
or not that much.
No more tears left to cry.
Allegedly.
Because her ponytail fell off?
I don't know what that means. Let's Be Frank podcast also agrees the qualifying offer has to go.
Jay Garrison backs it up with right around 4%. So if we see two people on the internet tell us 4%, that's got to be right.
If two people agree,
that's 4% plus 4% is 8%. Close to my 10%.
Moving on.
The new stuff on the warm stove. Like we already said, Strasburg is meeting with teams, including LA. That happened over the weekend.
Do you give in, does this mean anything to you when they report that, specifically the Dodgers? I don't really care about everybody else right now, but when they say that players met with the Dodgers, does that actually mean anything to you other than the fact that the Dodgers have the most money in baseball and they have
Magic
to meet with these guys?
meeting with Bryce Harper in Vegas?
They're doing remember that never happened, even though the flight was purchased, but. even though his personal charter was commissioned. Chartered. It does and it doesn't. It at least gives you the idea. I mean, the fact that it's happening, I think, before the winter meetings, I don't know if that's more telling, because usually those kind of conversations start at the winter meetings a little bit more. It's like, hey, Scott, hey, Andrew, let's talk. Yeah, I'm assuming that's how it goes. It's like the start of a bad porno, but
let us talk.
Let us talk. But
how's it going? What do you think he's worth? Like, that's the really surface level questions that are going to be out there, and that's what starts to
I would love to
reporters.
sit on like the initial like sit down with a player because
We
know
can.
it's,
Let's go to San Diego. Sit in the lobby.
that's fine.
Yeah, that's all we have to
I'm
do.
gonna stay home. I'm gonna have to like.
Because
quarterback.
depending on like tiers of players, I'm sure they like get like with like who's a big name like 2 or 3 years ago the Dodgers were after. Don't remember. Somebody that they
mystery
sat down
team.
with basically sat down and they explained what the next 5 years would look like for the Dodgers. Like, this is the direction we're heading. This is what we think we're going to do with the team. This is what we're hoping to accomplish in those next 5 years.
Wasn't it a pitcher?
It might have been actually been Manny, like in the process of them trying to re-sign him. I'm thinking of something like that.
No, that's the same offseason as Bryce.
There you go. It's probably that then. But you know,
does sound
you
familiar.
think about that, and depending on the tiers of player, that's probably what a sit down looks like. It's like, hey, you want to commit 5 to 10 years, depending on who you are, of your life to a team. You should probably know what we're about and what we're heading and the direction we're going. We're not rebuilding. We're not building a team around you.
Yeah.
You are part of the winning process, and here's how it is, and what we're gonna do to get us to that promised land, to get us a World Series, and get us another one after that. Like, this is what we're planning on, and
Yeah,
you
that's
can
a
get us
pitch.
there.
Yeah.
But
That's a
any
pitch,
of these
sales pitch, yeah.
players should see the organization, and you can look at the Dodgers. They're not rebuilding. They're not going to build something around you. No, you're a complimentary. I hate to I hate to interrupt your wave
Really
of
slow on the
consciousness.
buttons today.
I had options.
He's been drinking.
It was those three.
This
Personal
podcast
foul.
sponsored by Buchanan's.
Oh, I should have another. Anyway,
We couldn't get it to pour fast enough.
yeah, that was an uncomfortable pouring era. Time. ERA. It was pouring ERA. Anyways, get back to your question. Yeah, I mean, it sparks a little bit of excitement, I guess, when you hear that a team is talking to a player you want.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's just something to get the fans excited about, first of all. Like, you want to know that your team is actually talking to a player. I would much rather hear a report that the Dodgers are sitting down with Anthony Rendon and Steven Strasburg than the Dodgers are not sitting down with Anthony Rendon and Steven Strasburg, for sure. That was a stinker.
Buchanan.
I got really excited about Anthony
think,
Rendon coming to the Dodgers.
Texas is in major play for Rendon.
So here's the thing:
Apparently.
Texas is playing in their new stadium.
Yeah,
So
they
they're-
want to do
You would
something.
think the timing of playing in a new stadium is going to match up with a big name signing, and that just makes sense. You'd want to bring players out to or fans out to the new stadium. You know, when teams move into these new places, they're kind of looking to reestablish their brand. You know, they're trying to change up their whatever, and the Rangers haven't been good for quite a while. So if you're looking at them moving into a new stadium, you're like, all right. They could sign one of the biggest names in free agency. It actually would make sense because you want fans to be excited to come out to the games and not just because they're like, oh, we're just going to go out to the new stadium and eat and watch the Rangers lose without Adrian Beltre.
Yeah,
we're going to actually watch a good team play with a good player and be excited about our new team. And you know, what do the Rangers have to be excited about other than Joey Gallo? Like,
Did you see that? Did you see that awful? I think
Yeah,
it was an
man.
MLB writer. I forget who. Or
I
he is.
thought it was a joke.
Like,
I
it
thought
was
a joke.
such a bad trade. Like, it is the
Dodgers
most.
trade all of their top prospects for Joey Gallo.
Okay, to kind of shift off of our sort of topics and that we had in mind here, like, and people on the internet, feel free to play along, but do you guys get that feeling that other, I'd say media types and other organizations, but mainly media types, just don't understand the value of Dodger players, or are we as prospect huggers overvaluing some of these
I think
players?
for sure that like it within your own individual organizations, fan bases definitely overvalue their own prospects, and that's understandable. You watch these guys grow up, you watch these guys evolve, become better players, grow in the rankings for prospect rankings. You know, I think about guys like, you know, Tim Rogers, who's watched these guys since they were like 18 years old play in the minor league system. And right off the bat, you know, Tim knew like these were going to be big dudes. Like these guys are going to be really important in a couple of years. And they get to that point where they're a top 5 prospect all of a sudden. And Tim's like, yeah, see, I told you they're really good. They have really good potential. You look at another team and they're just like, all right, yeah, that's a good prospect. But you never know with prospects. You never know. You never know how they're going to shape up. Some prospects just tank. It just happens. You know, there are number 1 prospects from 2 years ago that are no longer playing baseball.
Joel Guzman, anybody? That was the savior of the Dodgers in
what's that dude's name?
2005.
Mark Apple?
Oh, Mark Appel.
Mark Apples. That guy's not playing baseball
number one
anymore,
pick.
isn't he?
Yeah, there's a number of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch that are like that. So you just never know. So when you're an MLB writer and you look at that and you don't know the Dodgers very well, or maybe you don't pay attention to their games, or maybe you don't watch, Oklahoma City Dodger games.
Or
maybe
you just look at a player that makes sense on another team, so you just go to
You just grab some prospects.
Yeah, you just go to like
there
their
you
top.
go.
Let's get like 1, 2, and 7 in there.
We have a Joey Gallo. His name's Jock Peterson. He strikes out slightly less.
I think that's the name of this.
That's the drop right there. We have a Joey Gallo. His name's Jock Peterson. Jock, if you're listening, I don't love you.
Oh, hey. I mean, all right. Yeah, you bring up a compelling argument there.
I'm pretty sure he's heard like something I've said about him before because he's given me some glares.
I don't think he knows what's going on.
I think he knows you.
He looks at me as
just like Kike knows you.
Cream.
He's a nice kid.
He likes you.
He's a nice kid. I don't mind the Jock, future White Sox.
Future Jock of Famer.
It was Mike Minor, the trade, by the way, for you
right.
kids out there that don't know it. Mike Minor and Joey Gallo for, what was it, Verdugo and Ruiz. And the thing was, like, he was like Verdugo and Dustin May, and then maybe one more like Keibert Ruiz, who's the number 1 prospect in the system.
Thanks for leaning away. I appreciate it.
I know how to work a mic.
Yeah. I just like go just right into it.
Like, how stupid. Who puts that together and is like, they're typing it up and like, you know what? That is a mighty. I am proud of myself. I shall jerk off with pride tonight. I'm assuming that's what writers do. Like, I don't know. Let us know in the comments below if that's happened. My name is Clint Evans, by the way. Jose Rod says East Coast bias when it comes to
Pedro bias.
Damn it. I think the Buchanan's is working for you as well.
It's good. It's going well, yeah.
I don't know. It's really dumb. It was an exceptionally bad one, but Rendon met with LA. He met with Texas. Like you said, they have that desperate need to fill in the gaping hole that was left by our former Dodger.
Yeah.
Dodger legend,
The
future
guy.
Hall of Famer Adrian Beltre.
Let's be frank. Pride kind of brings up one of the points that we're talking about, though. When you're talking about trade value for people, they say you can only pray that a guy like Gavin Lux would end up as good as Frankie Lindor. So when you're talking about prospects, when you're thinking about these guys that are super highly touted within your organization, there's no telling what they're going to become. You hope that they're going to be Lindor. Probably won't, but you hope they will. And so when you're looking at trades, and you're considering the value behind these trades, and you're considering trading away these guys for superstars like Lindor, you look at Lux, and suddenly you're like, all right, do I trade away the maybe for the for sure?
That's not Joey Gallo and Mike Minor for three of your top
that's
guys.
Different. That's straight up disrespectful. I want to talk to that writer. I just want to talk. That's it. I'll tie my hands behind my back. I just want to talk about it. But just like headbutt. Joey Gallo, are you kidding me?
Trash.
Oh my god.
Trash move.
I'm upset. Talk about something.
More warm stove that people might not be overly happy with, but Babe Ruth, Hyunjin Ryu, is apparently possibly bound for Minnesota. The Twins are looking at him. They're kicking the tires on him.
He actually makes sense. He makes a lot of sense for Minnesota.
They have who they have. Not
Barrios. He is like
they do have Barrios.
They do. He's like an Odorizzi type.
Yeah,
not necessarily that he is Odorizzi, but he is.
They have Odorizzi. They have Barrios. That it's a mix in that veteran presence. I bring you veteran presence.
And now a southpaw.
Like that really helps them, stay ahead of that AL Central that's sort of sputtered this past. Well, I mean, it's been sputtering for a while, but the Clevelands didn't make it for once. But
he's not going to Minnesota. I mean,
No.
he just got married.
Anaheim.
His wife will be so unhappy.
She'll be
in Minnesota.
cold.
She's as white as the snow there.
Is she pregnant, or does she have a kid?
Pregnant.
She's pregnant. Huh?
Yeah,
Expecting.
she needs family.
It's the
to
50s.
support.
She's gonna make the decision.
Yeah, she's gonna.
That's what
so
Gary
that's why I
said.
think Angels. Like you guys threw out Angels like 2 months ago.
I still think it's the Angels.
100%
I still think
Angels
it's the
most
Angels.
likely.
I think the Angels go really hard after Cole, don't get him, and then pivot to him. That's what I think happens.
Yeah.
I also am not a
Boris is
professional
like,
or
"Oh,
even
you
an
guys can't get
amateur.
Cole." Yeah.
So this one from one professional like myself to another professional like Brooke Smith over here. Do you think? I don't care. We've talked enough about Wheeler. We talked about that. We're done with rival club season right now. Let's get into the real stuff. How much do you read into, or do you agree with the fact that the big news today was the Yankees are afraid of the Dodgers and the Angels when it comes to Garrett Cole? Do you guys think that's legit enough?
Legit.
Garrett Cole has, I definitely get the geographical bias, of players.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you want to play near your home. That makes sense to me. I understand that. But to be fair, Garrett Cole has said it himself. It doesn't matter where I play. I don't care if I play in the East Coast or I play in the South. I've played in the South. I play in the North. It doesn't matter. I want to play for a winning team.
That's a Boris line.
It is for sure a Boris line. But in terms of that, I would be more afraid of that for the Dodgers than actually being on the West Coast geographically, because the Dodgers are a very winning team. So if you're looking at that, you look at the Yankees. Are the Yankees built for long-term success? That's to be determined. Are the Dodgers built for long-term success? That's almost 100% guaranteed they're built for long-term success.
Can confirm.
So you don't really know. If I were, I'm obviously biased, guys. I get it. Not Pedro biased. I'm biased. If I'm looking at long-term success, if I was going to say who's going to be the most successful over the next 10 years, I would say the Dodgers are going to be more successful than the Yankees over the next 10 years, mostly because of the way they spent their money, who they choose to spend it on, the age of the established players and veterans on their team, as opposed to the Dodgers, who are a lot of young talent and a lot of money invested in some older guys, but their contracts are almost up. So I would say, in terms of long-term success, probably the Dodgers.
Right.
So if I were him and I were basing it off of that, I pick the Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm biased too. I think Garrett Cole absolutely, and the Dodgers need Garrett Cole. They need that starting.
They need
pitching.
somebody.
They need a starting pitcher to come in to replace Ryu and Rich Hill, and have that Rich Hill like veteran presence, kind of.
Bring team presence.
Yeah, the pitchers that we have right now: May, Gonsolin, Bueller, Urias. I don't think Urias is gonna be a starter.
He is. They already said it.
Yeah, I just don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna.
Well, they also said he wasn't going to be a starter, and then he was.
He's trade bait.
So you never know. The
They
Astros might
held
want
on.
him.
Trade him.
They've held on to him for
Or the
so
Cubs.
long.
Why wouldn't you?
Because
I don't know.
I like his profile. Plus, I
He's-
want to see if Gorlo can lose some weight.
No,
I don't think you
Jerks
can,
and
man.
Profile went to San Diego.
Oh, I saw that. Good trade.
I don't know.
So
I'm on one right now.
as we switch gears a little bit here, but not really. Let's look ahead to the winter meetings. Are things finally going to heat up for real at the winter meetings? And more importantly, I'll ask everybody here in this room, and Anthony, you can go and turn your mic towards you too, because I want to ask you: do you guys, as everybody here, let's get the consensus? Do people think one of the big name players will actually get signed during the winter meetings? Let's lead off with you, Gary.
No way.
All right, that's a no way. What do you
Sorry.
think, Anthony?
No.
Thank you. Hey, that's two no's.
There you go. Nice addition to that. During the winter meetings? No, I don't think so.
Well, for fun, I'm going to say yes, one of them signs. And I'm saying one of the top 5 guys. And let's include Zach Wheeler as one of the big-time guys. Let's say it. I'm going to say
Big
Zach
time.
Wheeler goes big time.
What's the bet?
Anytime.
What's the bet?
I don't know.
You against the room.
You have to drink this.
In one swig.
This just in. Real FRG was found dead.
D-E-D. Dead.
He dead.
Because a train ran him over. Not because you drank.
I would have gone the wrong way. Stay in school, kids. They teach you where trains kill you.
Where they go.
Wheeler is going to go to one of Texas or the White Sox. I get that feeling. The White Sox have the money already in his hand. They're like, please just take this.
White Sox need pitching for a very good offense.
It's
too.
like a grandma trying to give you money, and you're like, no, grandma, I don't need it. No, you keep your money.
Take it.
You take the money. Why my grandma is Adam Sandler, I don't know, but you take the money.
It's good. It's really good.
Thank you.
You do a good Adam Sandler.
In terms of the Dodgers, though, and winter meetings wise, it feels to me, and maybe I'm just biased towards hatred of having lost in the NLDS, but it feels like nothing really ever gets done at the winter meetings, Dodger wise. Last season was Joe Kelly. Randomly, the deal was in place.
It was just like, boom, Kelly. We were like, whoa.
Okay,
Whoa, all
why?
right.
But all right, whatever. But I don't know. Am I wrong in saying nothing happens at these winter meetings?
You're not wrong. I think conversations
Damn straight
are
I'm
had,
not.
but if you're a player, specifically if you're a player agent, why let that happen at the winter meetings? Like, let that play out a little bit. Let markets develop. Let bidding wars start. Let those owners talk to each other, because eventually they're going to let it slip that they're interested in certain players. It's going to happen. No doubt about it. You're going to talk to each other about them. Why not? I mean, why not wait till after the winter meetings? It just makes sense. Like, you're not losing any value by waiting longer to be signed. That much is true. Unless you're like a mediocre player, in which case you're going to see mediocre players come off the board. But when you're a top player like that, your market value doesn't dive. That doesn't happen.
But then you can start to, like, the sooner it happens, like you were saying, the sooner you can start to sort of prognosticate and roster bait with these things. Like, who else makes sense? Like, if I can go out and get Cole at the winter meetings, not Cole Hamels, but Garrett Cole, if I go get him, then you can start to plan the rest of
Cole Calhoun.
Cole Calhoun.
Yeah.
No.
Also a free agent.
No. That's a no from me, dog. Don't maybe get Adam Sandler back here. Tim, I think it was no. Jose Rod says Matt Kemp got traded. I guess.
At the winter meetings?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you remember that?
No. Zach Andrews says we trade for Lindor at the winter meetings. Wow, what a
Samuel says, can Jed Jerko stay in LA and work with y'all on the show? Oh God,
sorry, I have
wish.
standards. I'm sorry, Sam.
Oh God, Jed, if you're listening and you want a spot on the show, you can take mine. Oh my God,
I'm just kidding.
It could be called Clinton the Jerk. Oh my God, it's such a good show.
Jerk off with Clint.
Delayed clap. I love giving the delayed clap.
All right, that's the show.
I don't know. Just like the more I think about
We've
Andy,
been shut down.
the more I think about
FCC.
Andy Friedman, and the more I think about like the moves that have happened. Like there's not much. Last year was Joe Kelly, and that was his first year operating like without Farhan in a while. You think about it. So, and even like the I wanted to talk about this last week. Even like the fringe moves that Farhan did this year, they weren't that good. Was Farhan like ultimately the brains behind it? There was no Muncy types. There was no Chris Taylor or even Brandon Morrows in the rough.
I mean, there was like
There was
like
Adam
the Colerics.
Koleric and Casey Sadler, two dudes from Tampa. Sorry, pass.
I like Tampa,
Yeah, he used to work there.
not Miami.
All I do is win.
I mean, those fringe moves definitely didn't happen. And I think of all years I've been saying this for years. I've been saying this since when they lost in 2017. So I'm just going to keep saying it. Of all the years, this is the year to not do that with the fringe guys. This is the year to sign the big names. This is the year to pay some money out. This is the year to give me a World Series. I swear to God, if I don't get one.
This feels forced.
I've been waiting a long time for a World Series.
Anyways, to continue on with our final segment, which is called "Jerk Off with Clint." Is that the new name of the episode?
Jerking it with Clint.
Oh, we gotta dump out a few MLB headlines. Just dump them out, guys. I don't know if I'm happy or if I'm indifferent or if I really don't care. Moose finally got his ears. Mike Moustakas signed a multi-year contract. It only took him 2 off seasons, but he finally got it.
Poor guy, man.
Well, he made
what's the
18
deal?
mil the past 2 years.
Why does
so it's not
everybody?
bad.
I mean, he when you look at him in comparison to like players of his caliber, though, severely underpaid.
Yeah.
I don't get the hate for Moose. I mean, I do.
I like
because
Moose after that
statistically,
first year we played him.
in like when you do deep dive on statistics around him,
He's not a modern
actually
player.
Not a modern player at
Yeah.
all. So I get it, but
He's
also
clutch.
kind of sucks that he just hasn't gotten paid.
He's like a 2005, 2008 superstar
He's
player.
an MVP 2005 player. You know that game?
Oh, no, 04 for me.
04?
The one with Pujols on the cover. Crushed it.
Yeah.
Killed the game, son. With non-tender day passing us on Monday, a couple things happened that were of note. One we already alluded to is the first time ever that a player got an MVP vote and was non-tendered by their club. So, hey, that vote was totally well worth it. Dumbass writer.
Who is that guy?
Did they ever say who it was?
Yeah, it was.
Come out,
what's
coward.
His name? The Giants writer.
Baggerly?
No, Schulman. The one who's offended
Henry
by
Schulman.
The one who's offended by every word ever. and
What a
vulgarity of Dodger Stadium
what a
music,
son
because
of a bitch.
apparently DJ Severe is not a professional.
Oh,
apparently,
that's right.
That guy, screw that guy. Oh my gosh, that's the first guy that I ever got into a Twitter battle with. By which I mean I was battling myself on Twitter within his comments.
And
That's
another
what I mean.
thing.
I can't stand that guy. He's the worst. He does not deserve to write about baseball, let alone get a vote. Oh my goodness gracious,
Stupid. Was it? Oh, that's
Pilar, Kevin Pilar. What?
Like where? Number one,
Kevin
how dare
Pilar.
you? Number two, where do you get off? So for you,
Travis d'Arnaud. should have
yes,
gotten more
which
MVP
is
votes.
worse, Darno or hey, Justin Turner's
I'm
in the
upset,
stream.
man. That's good.
It's totally real Justin Turner too, because he says next year we'll achieve world champion.
That's Asian Justin Turner.
So this is this is Jinglish Justin Turner in the stream, guys.
He says so. We should
get Garrett Cole.
Good call. Good call, JT.
AJ on the guitar says he's Pilar's agent. give AJ a couple points and a bike belt because I
He's gonna
almost hit
get
it.
him paid.
Speaking of people that are good on Twitter, like AJ, hey, friend of the show,
Hey Jay.
Courtney Turner, the wife of Justin Turner, who's
Who
here
is
in the stream, being forever the queen of clapbacks, clap back at the Mets beautifully on non-tender day when she's like, how did that turn out? Or however that, I forgot exactly what it was she said, but she retweeted the, on this day in history, the throwback clapback of, you know, what the hell was it? You know, the Mets
the
release.
non-tender.
Yeah, they not tender him. She's just never forget. Hashtag never forget.
I love
I think that worked out pretty well for her especially.
Yeah, she got that ring.
Mm-hmm.
Different ring, not the ring we want, but she got that ring.
I mean, JT's a handsome boy. He seems fun
married,
loving,
right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're married. Yeah.
Courtney,
Sorry, guys.
yes, he is married to Courtney Turner.
I thought they were just like
It was that winter
Banging
of
on the
marriage.
side.
related.
Yeah, the winter of marriage, and this off season's the winter of babies. Apparently,
Yep.
Dylan Floro had a baby.
My friend had a
They
baby.
said he wasn't there at his own birth, baby birth. Your friend had a
baby?
baby? Yes, the baby was a no show.
the baby didn't.
BFA'd the baby. Hey, Brooke, why don't you hit us with a couple of headlines?
Apparently, the Dodgers want to trade for a human piece of garbage. Josh Hader, don't you hate her talking about this?
Wait, the Dodgers are interested in Hader? No.
What?
Yeah. Apparently, there's some interest in Hader trade talk. Milwaukee's reportedly interested in moving the dominant piece of crap, as written by you. That's good writing. Well done. Well done there. So basically, they're willing to listen in on offers for him. I really think it's a bad time for them to listen to offers for him. They might as well hold on to him because they've already held on to him despite everything, even though he's a piece of crap and his values probably never going to get any higher.
What, that was 2 years ago now, so it doesn't really count anymore.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah.
tend to forget about
Remember, he was young.
things. Yeah. I still haven't forgotten Plexico Burris shooting himself in the leg, so I'm not going to forget about that. Don't ever forget.
Happy Throwback Tuesday, kids.
Plexico, miss you.
With Hader too, they're in a really tough spot because he is like the first ever case of his style or of his type when it comes to arbitration. He is basically like was their closer, but he's like a 3-inning lights out swingman dude, but also his outfielder Grisham couldn't make that play, so he lost to the Nats and the thing and whatever. But anyways,
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, absolutely right.
sorry, current Padres outfielder Trent Grisham.
I saw a lot of people say that they wouldn't mind having him on the team. If we're going to insert my own personal thoughts and opinions, I don't want him anywhere near my team.
I mean, obviously, baggage DFA'd like never happened. Hell yeah, give me the Josh Hader. And I mean, imagine Hader with,
Baggage.
imagine Hader with good Kenley and
Rest in peace, good Kinley.
bless up, and good Joe Kelly. Rest in peace, good bless up. They're having twins, by the way. That's the off season of the baby.
Kenley and Joe Kelly.
Yes,
That's cool. Let's be frank. Says
I hate this
he's
show.
what Andrew Miller was supposed to be.
Oh God,
And that's right. Andrew Miller was supposed to be. Oh man, Andrew Miller. What happened?
he died when he went to St. Louis.
Kike hit a home run off of him one time, and he was never the same.
Well,
What are we talking about?
I don't know. I think we're at that point where it's wrap it up. It's been an odd show. Maybe I don't know if we weren't
What a
drunk
great
enough
one.
early, Or we should have been drunk more in the middle.
Next time we start and end with Buchanan's. Buchanan's, it's what's for breakfast.
Until then, you can find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. We will be bringing you every single little morsel of Dodgers content and any of the content where the players we want are possibly going elsewhere. You can subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM. Oh, so many more.
So many more. I am at BurkeB3. This guy over here on my right is at RealFRG. We are both on Twitter and Instagram. We are at Dodger Nation on Twitter, at Official Dodger Nation on Instagram. Huge thank you to our crack production team, Mr. Gary on my left, Mr. Anthony also on my left. Thank you guys for all your questions and comments. And if you guys listen to us daily, if you guys listen to us in the car like Teresa does in Arizona, if you guys are always supporting us, we want to thank you so much for that because you make our dreams come true. You make us truly the happiest podcast hosts on the planet. And we want to thank you for everything that you guys do for us in this season of thanks. That's what we're doing. Season of thanks.
It was last week.
Yeah, whatever. I'm thanking him now.
You making my dreams come true.
And we got banned for that. Thank you guys so much for your questions and comments. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.